and established mind-expanding exhibitions in Two Point Museum. We helped Keeper's sentient lighthouse solve puzzles and unearthed the secrets buried in Atomfall's eerie England. But which of the year's many different video games is worthy of being crowned the very best of 2025? Every December, the IGN team considers all the games they've collectively played and reviewed across the year, and votes on which one they think is the greatest of them all. Which one is the Game of the Year?
SK, you ready?
Sometimes that choice is incredibly difficult. Other years, it's easy. 2025 was the latter, with our winner dominating almost 3/4 of the vote. But what is that near universally admired game? That's what we're here to reveal. Before we run down the games that made it onto our final shortlist, we'd like to recognise several other brilliant experiences that we've had this year.
We sure cause a lot of explosions.
I need you to trust me one last time.
Hazelight Studios once again proved that it's the king of co-op with the wonderful Split Fiction, a creative action platformer that builds atop the successes of 2021's It Takes Two, with some of the most surprising and innovative level design that we've seen not just this year, but this decade. There was some interesting innovation happening over at Konami too. With Silent Hill F, developer Neobards Entertainment took the series' trademark oppressive horror and
I need you to trust me one last time.
Korean special motion capture, which is impressive in its own right. The game, already nicknamed Korean Sam Fisher, meets Blackpink by the gaming community, is set in a near future where the two Koreas have reunited, but peace is far from certain, and the world is more fragile than ever. The protagonist, Special Agent Ji Jong-tae, must solve a series of terrorist attacks allegedly planned by the mysterious organization called Bilmuban, and it is during his investigation that he stumbles upon a K-pop idol named Gavi, who turns out to be at the center of the entire conspiracy. The developers promise that the game will not have an overloaded UI and will do away with outdated gameplay mechanics. Mudang 2 Hearts is officially scheduled for release in 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. I've put together some of the most interesting points about this release, since GTA 6 is a true cultural and economic event of an unprecedented scale, more than just a game. So here are the main takeaways about what we have so far. In terms of development, it's been nearly 13 years, with a budget of around $2 billion, which is also intended for the long-term online service. This is more than any Hollywood blockbuster in history. Several thousand employees have been involved worldwide. There's information that, at its peak, this number reached 6,000 people. For comparison, Red Dead Redemption 2 had about 2,000 employees. As for the game itself, we'll get the largest and most diverse map ever created by Rockstar in the fictional state of Leonida, a parody of Florida with its main city of Vice City, which copies Miami. While previous GTA games parodied a specific era, like Vice City in the 80s, GTA 6 is clearly focused on satirizing contemporary culture in real time, with direct references to social media influencers and memes. The main protagonists are a duo inspired by the criminal romance of Bonnie and Clyde. Lucia is the first non-optional female protagonist in the series, while Jason is a former army veteran. Now let's talk about the rumors that you don't have to believe. Leaks hint at a new aging mechanic for the characters, which would be a core part of the gameplay, expanding on RDR2's realism. Many people point to a controversial $100 price tag and a multi-tiered model with early access to GTA Online. This could become a new standard for AAA games. An interesting point is that after the release of GTA 5, an IGN survey showed that almost half of the 11,000 people surveyed took a day off, with 2,100 people pretending to be sick. The new installment is expected to cause a similar phenomenon, dubbed GTA Flu. The official release date for GTA 6 is May 26, 2026 for PS5 and Xbox Series, but insiders continue to have doubts, suggesting a postponement to September, so we will await further news. If you want to stay up to date with the latest gaming releases, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. And with that, we're moving on to number 17. Capcom is taking the Resident Evil franchise back to its roots in a move that seems to directly address fan feedback. The game was initially conceived as an online-only title, but developers pivoted to a single-player, narrative-driven experience after realizing that's not what players wanted. This is a conscious decision to return to the survival horror genre, set in the devastated Raccoon City about 30 years after the original outbreak. The new protagonist, FBI agent Grace Ashcroft, is a key point of interest. She's an introverted analyst and not a hardened combatant like Leon Kennedy. This changes the dynamics, forcing you to rely more on stealth and environmental manipulation to survive, though you will eventually get your hands on weapons. A playable demo at Gamescom 2025 offered the chance to switch between first and third-person perspectives on the fly, with the first-person view being an especially terrifying and claustrophobic experience. The monster that hunts you is described as smarter and more relentless than Mr. X or Lady Dimitrescu, and can now appear from the ceiling. This adds terror, but similar scare mechanics were already present in previous installments. The game is set for release on February 27, 2026, and in addition to the leading platforms, it will also be available on the Switch too. Chronicles Medieval. There's a massive new sandbox RPG on the horizon from Raw Power Games, a brand new studio staffed by over 100 industry veterans from titans like The Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, and the Assassin's Creed series. When they first showed the game off, the cinematic trailer was narrated by actor Tom Hardy himself, which immediately signaled a huge budget and high ambitions. But the most interesting story here is what happened with the studio's stance on generative AI. Back in 2022, the studio's CTO stated their 10-year goal was to rely so much on AI that they'd just be making tools that will generate the game for them. That statement stirred up a lot of controversy, and now, the company has completely changed course. In a recent statement, they officially confirmed the game is 100% handcrafted with no use of generative AI. The devs have also brought on a historical European martial arts expert to ensure the combat is authentic. The game will blend a top-down strategic map with third-person action in a way that's clearly trying to challenge the dominance of a certain beloved franchise. Many gamers who've been waiting for a true next-gen Mount and Blade should take a look at this project. Chronicles Medieval is expected to launch in early access on PC in 2026, with a full release on consoles. When you hear the name Amy Hennig, you probably think of the Uncharted trilogy. Now the legendary writer and director is back with her studio's new project, Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra. Originally, the game was supposed to come out in 2025, but it was pushed back to early 2026. The truth is, that was probably a smart move, because we've seen almost no official gameplay. What we have seen is a bunch of very early unpolished footage from a 2022 to 2023 development build that was leaked online. It showed some very rough, movement-heavy combat with Black Panther, and it was quickly dismissed by some people who didn't understand that this footage was nearly 4 years old. You know how that goes. Hennig's vision for the game is to create what she calls a shared living room experience, similar to her work on Uncharted, where the game is as fun to watch as a movie as it is to play. The story is a globe-trotting adventure starring 4 playable characters: Captain America, Black Panther, a Howling Commando named Gabriel Jones, and a Wakandan spy named Nanali, with locations like occupied Paris and the jungles of Wakanda. It's a game that's betting on a linear cinematic experience in an era of massive open worlds, which is a bold choice for a new studio. For years, gamers have been hearing about Crimson Desert, and it's a title that has been delayed multiple times since it was first announced in 2020. It was originally aimed for a late 2025 release, but the studio recently announced another delay to March 19, 2026. But here's the kicker. Pearl Abyss was very upfront about the reason for this latest delay, stating that active development is actually complete, and the delay was a strategic decision to give them more time for logistics like localization and console certification. The move, as many have noted, strategically places the game ahead of the launch of GTA 6 in May 2026, giving it some much-needed breathing room and showing a clear understanding of the market. But the real kicker is what happened behind the scenes. According to reports, Pearl Abyss rejected a timed exclusivity deal from Sony. Sony apparently was so impressed with the game's potential that they even compared its atmosphere to Ghost of Tsushima. The studio chose instead to self-publish, which is a huge bet on themselves to reach a wider audience and keep a larger share of the profits, without being tied to a single platform. Gears of War is taking us back to where it all began. E-Day is a new prequel from the Coalition that takes us back 14 years before the original game to the day the Locust emerged. This isn't a remake, but a completely new story, starring younger versions of Marcus Fenix and Dom Santiago, with both original voice actors reprising their roles. The creative director has said that they're specifically trying to return to the series' horror roots, reframing the Locust as living nightmares seen through the eyes of people encountering them for the very first time. The Coalition is a flagship first-party studio for Xbox and a global leader in Unreal Engine development. E-Day is being built on UE5, an engine that has a reputation for major optimization problems and poor performance in other games. Because of this, the gaming community is watching this release very closely. The Coalition has been tasked with creating a game that feels both truly new and authentically Gears, and its success will largely be judged by whether they can deliver a technically sound experience that sets a new benchmark for what Unreal Engine 5 can do. Gears of War E-Day is coming to Xbox Series and PC, and will be included with Xbox Game Pass.
Hey Jotformers, it's time to recap the biggest launches of 2025, plus 2.
The names James Olin and Drew Karpyshyn are legendary in the world of RPGs. Now this band of BioWare veterans has founded a new studio, Archetype Entertainment, and their first project is the sci-fi action RPG Exodus. Karpyshyn himself, the lead writer for the first 2 Mass Effect games, said that his passion for game development had been rekindled at the new studio. For many, this is a spiritual successor to classic BioWare RPGs from the people who define the genre. But what really makes the game unique is its core mechanic. It's built around a time dilation system, a classic sci-fi trope where, due to relativistic space travel, only months pass for the player while decades or even centuries pass for everyone else. And this is a fundamental part of the gameplay. For example, a faction you helped on one mission could be extinct by the time you return from a longer one. This elevates player choices to a whole new level of consequence, making every decision feel weighty in a way that's very rare in modern RPGs. And yes, the game features a key character voiced by none other than Matthew McConaughey. When the first trailer for Phantom Blade Zero dropped, it immediately broke the internet. The game is a kung fu punk action RPG from Chinese studio S-Game, and it has a unique story behind its development. The director Soulframe Leung originally envisioned a much smaller game, but after that reaction, he made the call to increase the scale to a full AAA title. This is a studio that's now making a massive high-stakes bet on itself. The combat system, built on real Chinese martial arts and developed with help from martial arts instructors, is described as fast and fluid, and having drawn comparisons to Sekiro. But unlike a typical Souls-like, there is no stamina bar, and the game's combat is designed to be more aggressive and kinetic. This is a controversial choice for some purists, but it shows the studio is not afraid to break genre conventions. While the main story is only 30 to 40 hours, the developers claim that you will likely only see about 40% of the content on your first playthrough, which suggests a huge amount of optional missions and side content hidden in the game's semi-open world. Phantom Blade Zero is coming to PS5 and PC, and the specific release date was promised to be announced at the end of 2025. The original Fable was known for its whimsical charm, and the big challenge for the new studio is living up to that legacy. It's a highly anticipated reboot from Playground Games, a studio with a flawless track record of making stunning open-world racing games with the Forza Horizon series, but with no experience making an action RPG of this scale. The game was delayed from its initial 2025 launch window to sometime in 2026. The most heated conversations around Fable often happen online, with a vocal minority of players calling the game woke because of its female protagonist or the presence of non-white characters in a European fantasy setting. But here's the thing, this isn't a new direction for the Fable franchise at all. The very first game, released way back in 2004, included gay marriage and characters of color like Whisper, so those concerns are based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the series' history. The real underlying question is whether a studio known for building beautiful driving sandboxes can capture the unique, whimsical, and often satirical charm of the original Fable games, where your choices have strange, visible consequences. The game will be an Xbox console exclusive, available on PC, and included with Xbox Game Pass. 4 years of delays, radio silence, and internal struggles. Pragmata is a new sci-fi IP from Capcom, one of the few major new franchises from the publisher in over a decade, and it's a game with a long and troubled history. It was originally announced for a 2022 release but was repeatedly delayed until Capcom finally went silent on the project. Now it's officially set for 2026, with a self-aware post-it note in a recent trailer that literally says 2026, it's real. The game's director, Young-hee Cho, later admitted that the team went through difficult times and repeatedly asked themselves if the game they were making was actually fun. It's a project that is a testament to the developers' persistence in the face of immense creative doubt. On top of that, the game itself aims to break the rules of third-person shooters, and from what we've seen, it's doing so in a big way. Its core combat mechanic requires the protagonist, Hugh, to first hack enemies with his companion Diana, before he can do any real damage to them. Pragmata is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. When the former director of The Witcher 3 left his studio to start a new project, he promised complete creative freedom. The result is The Blood of Dawnwalker, a new dark fantasy action RPG from his studio Rebel Wolves. The core idea was to create a studio with a supportive environment and complete creative freedom. So for a lot of people, this isn't just a new game, it's a direct promise from the people who made The Witcher 3 great. A new narrative-driven RPG that gets back to what made that game so beloved. The setting itself is a vampire-ruled 14th century Europe, full of moral gray areas, a hallmark of Tomaszkiewicz's past work. The most unique gameplay hook is a time as a resource mechanic. You have just 30 into game days to complete a critical task to save your family. But here's the twist. Free exploration of the open world doesn't advance the clock at all. This means you have to strategically prioritize your major story decisions while still having the freedom to explore at your own pace. It's a thoughtful design that challenges the typical endless side quests open world formula while still letting you lose yourself in the world. From the creators of Until Dawn, a studio known for its choice-driven horror games, comes a new project that feels like a big departure. Directive 8020 is the fifth installment in the Dark Pictures anthology from Supermassive Games. It's set in deep space and is heavily inspired by classic films like The Thing and Aliens, with a shape-shifting alien threat that mimics its prey. To appeal to a wider audience, Supermassive has also made a controversial design choice with a new feature called Turning Points. This system allows players to literally rewind and change a major decision after it's been made. The creative director admitted this was added.
I don't want to see you treated. Please make sure your hands are clean before touching anything, all right? And what do you plan to do with it? Do you even know what you're at? You think that even it would be kept under the highest security? Of course. I'll bring everything we have on. So don't get your hopes up. Smoke? Amazing. We've been keeping this collection since the Second Era. Books have come and gone during that time, but it's mostly intact. Fight well.
I trust you aren't considering any...
Try not to spill anything on them. Hundreds of years have gone into a sip. Aye, that's the work of Sep. He's been gone for a long while. Somewhere up. He said he found some old... haven't heard from him since. You need a book? You talk to me. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a lot of pain.
There are few places where one can... That incident. Spells and incantations for those with the talent to cast them. Mm-hmm.
You know, They say knowledge is its own reward. Illusion. Oh. If only I could be... Take a look.
Yes? What?
Illusion really is the least appreciated of the schools of magic.
Please don't bother the art. If there are any problems, let me know. Well, that Beralda can teach destruction spells and offers training in that school. Finis is one of the best conjurers in all of Skyrim and can help with spell. Day-to-day operations are my responsibility, which means if you become a problem, you get sent to me.
Yes? What did you need? Yes? What did you need?
There are few places where one can pursue my type of work without fear of persecution.
Yes? What did you need? Yes? What did you need?
What you learn here will last you a lifetime. Several if you're talented.
Yes? What did you need?
It's no secret that the college's reputation in Skyrim has told... Please, don't allow him to continue to discuss the subject.
I have many important... Now that stability to guide its people through this time of transition, to help lead them to a better future.
Be careful!
Yes? What did you need?
I think the college is due. If you're working on any experiment, she's threatened, but she is not. She's trying to undermine my confidence.
Don't trust that one. He's up to something.
All right then.
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear?
I'm working on some very important
Please don't bother the
research, I
Archmage
assure
unless...
you.
Well, Beralda can teach destruction spells, and offers training in that school.
The exact nature of my research is a secret, I'm afraid, but it really is quite valuable.
Just like anywhere else, it's all about who you know. Lucky for you, you know me.
Nords don't trust magic or those that use it. Made it difficult for me growing up. Not at all. My family was convinced coming here was a death sentence, or worse. It took years of insisting that this is what I'm meant
If you have a moment, could you help me with something?
They won't say much, but most people have very strong opinions about the college and those that study here.
I think the college is due for a change in leadership.
If there are any problems, let me know. It's my job to keep things running smoothly. Please don't bother the Archmage unless it's absolutely necessary.
If you're working on any experiments, please clean up after yourself.
It is difficult to admit, but Cesargo could still use some help.
Yes? What did you need?
If there are any problems, let me know. It's my job to keep things running smooth.
Yes? What did you need?
What do you think you're doing?
Yes? What did you need? Yes? What did you need?
You know, they say knowledge is its own reward. Illusion. So, you wish to master the arcane arts? Until next time.
Yes? What did you need?